to Homestead Corner. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about salt. Uses for salt in an emergency situation, and this in no way is medical or health information. I'm not suggesting you eat more salt or eat less salt. That if you're going to do a drastic change in your salt intake, I definitely think you should talk to your doctor about it while you can. Salt is primarily composed of sodium chloride, and your body needs it. All animal life needs salt, so your pets, livestock, they all need salt. In an emergency situation, you want to make sure that everybody is getting the right amount of salt that they need so they can stay healthy. So the first thing you can use salt for is food preservation. And food preservation, you can use it for curing and when you're smoking meats, drying meats, anything like that, you're going to be using salt because it helps draw that liquid out. If you think of it like when you make pickles or you cook making a zucchini bread, you're going to salt it down to draw out that liquid and before you proceed with them. So the salt is going to do that, and it helps dry stuff by pulling that liquid out. So it is great for food preservation. The second way you can use salt is for your health. In an emergency situation, we're probably not going to be eating as much prepared foods, so we're not going to have all that salt in there. So we're going to need to pay attention and make sure we're adding more salt into the foods that we cook. Because if we're cooking from dried goods, pasta, rice, beans, things like that, they don't have salt in them. When you buy them from the store, already prepared, it's already got the salt in there, so you don't really need to add that. But when you're cooking it at home yourself, you need to make sure you're adding that salt in there. And a lot of times we use a lot of pink salt here in our house. But in that situation, you want to make sure you have some regular table salt, because your body also requires the iodine that they put into the table salt. It is another needed mineral that your body needs, so you want to make sure that you're getting that. In emergency situations, we may be sweating more and things like that, and that takes the salt out of your body. And when you lose that big amount of salt all at once, extra urination, extra sweating, things like that, it is messing with your electrolytes. And at times, way back in the day, doctors and even the military would issue salt tablets for our soldiers and things like that, and to people that were sweating too much and just losing too much of that salt, they weren't able to obtain it. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that level of salt that we need, not overdoing it, but keeping it high enough so we're able to maintain those electrolytes and keep our bodies in good condition so we can keep going and keep working. It's really important in an emergency situation, not only that you're getting enough calories from your food, but you're also getting that salt so you can really keep your body working in great condition. The third way to use salt in an emergency situation is for wound and skin care. By mixing some salt with water, you're making a saline solution, and that is really good to clean out any kind of wounds that you get. And you can easily, you want it to have some pressure behind it so you can like irrigate it and really get some pressure to it. So in an emergency situation, I would take a plastic bag or even a water bottle and put your saline solution in there and just puncture a small hole. And then when you squeeze it, it's going to give it some pressure, and it's going to get any of that bacteria and debris or anything out of there. So it's going to help clean whatever's in that wound and get it cleaned out, and that pressure is really going to help. So you could just puncture a plastic bag or water bottle, whatever you had, and just squeeze it, and it just adds that pressure to it to help get it all out. The fourth way to use salt in an emergency situation is for oral hygiene and oral care, things like that, overall oral health. You can mix some salt in water, and I've never seen a specific amount of salt to water ratio, but we usually just put a teaspoon in a 4 to 6 ounce glass, and it is really salty. You do not want to drink it, but just rinsing out your mouth is going to help with canker sores, sore throat, things like that. If you had a cut in your mouth or anything, you just rinse it out with the water and spit it out, and it works really well. And you can also take the salt and brush your teeth with it. It will help keep your teeth clean and whiten them a little bit. And it definitely doesn't taste great with all that salt in there, but it does help. And it even will freshen up your breath a little bit. And number 5 is pest control. Salt is known to keep ants away. They do not like it. So if you just put a little bit around an area, let's say you were outside in a survival situation, you could salt around an area to keep pests away, ants and things like that. And also you want to ants can be a big problem with your food. You don't want bugs getting in your food in a survival situation. So you can also mix it with a little water and spray it if you have the ability around just your food area, or you could sprinkle it around. However, you just want to get it around everything so they're not getting into your food. The ants do not like to cross it, and you know, it doesn't taste delicious when it's big amounts of it. Even for ants, they don't love it. And that is it for my 5 uses of salt in an emergency situation. If you have other ways that you like to use salt for emergency situations, please put them down in the comments down below. There are tons of different ways to use it. Let's help everybody, and by sharing tips and tricks that we have, and it's getting prepared for what is to come. If we need this stuff, we will be ready, and it will help everyone. And that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.